Hello boys and girls, my name is SidAlpha and we're coming together again with another episode of Smart vs. Roberts. This time we're actually going to be taking a look at the other side of the coin. I know we've been covering quite a bit what Derek Smart has been saying in reference to Cloud Imperium Games and Star Citizen and a lot of the perceived issues that have been going on there. This time though we're actually going to be taking a look at the RSI side. And the reason why not too much of this has been done so far in my videos is because there's really not much there as far as responses from them goes. Basically, it boils down to a few forum posts, an interview, a brief touch on it in an interview that was done with Chris Roberts, and a legal response to Derek Smart in general. So there's not a whole lot there. Basically, Derek Smart has been doing 99% of the talking, and Cloud Imperium Games and RSI have been doing a very, very, very small fraction of communication and response. So we're going to take a quick look through at everything that they have been responding with from what I've been able to find so far. First off, we have the legal response to Derek Smart that was back in August, and we'll take a quick look at that first to see what their exact response was in regards to his demanding full disclosure as far as economic expenditures and things of that note. So let's take a quick look at that real quick. Okay, so here we have the letter that was sent in response to Derek Cooper in regards to Derek Smart's request at Discovery. This was received by Keith Cooper, August 28th, obviously. Says, Dear Mr. Cooper, with respect to your above referenced letter, we are currently aware of your client's rants on his internet blog and other internet message boards with his false and defamatory allegations. He has also released personal address information for some senior executives of the company, and our counsel are reviewing in this regard various legal actions for defamation and cyber stalking. So let's stop and back up here real quick. Released personal address information for some senior execs of the company. Now, I have not been able to find or verify this in any way. However, if that did take place, that is not something that you would ever want to do in any way, shape, or form. It's just not something you would want to do. I mean, that would open you up to a host of legal action right there, because personal address information is guarded very closely in companies both large and small. Even if you just call in looking for someone's cell number, they're not going to give it to you. There are a lot of specific reasons for that. Mainly it is for employee protection that you just don't do that ever. Now, continuing on, your client backed the Star Citizen project in 2012 with a pledge of $250. He commenced his defamatory actions in early July 2015 by alleging on his blog, without any basis or backup, and with many links to his own game and development, that the Star Citizen project was a fraud and that it was never going to be delivered. He pointed to buggy performances of the modules released as well as other deficiencies. Now, buggy performance of the modules released is, that right there is not something that is really out of the ordinary. I mean, the game is essentially still in a pre-alpha state or a very early alpha state in many components of the game. So the fact that they're still buggy really is not going to surprise anyone right there. Now, we are surprised about his claims because our records indicate that he actually never downloaded and installed the game. He also unsubscribed from our email list very soon after having backed the project. Nonetheless, and in response to his eagerly promoted postings, we contacted him via email to advise him that given his concerns, we were gladly refunding him his pledge. In his response, your client thanked us for the refund and advised us the address to which the refund check could be sent. The refund check was mailed promptly, and of course they're citing exhibits there that are not a part of this posting. Continuing on to the next page. Our regular accounting audits revealed after 30 days that the check had not been cashed, while it had not been returned as undeliverable either. We researched the address and had to find out that the address given by our client does not exist. We contacted your client again via email, only to find out that he indeed had provided us with a false address. He claimed that street names had been renamed, but there is certainly no record of that. We have to assume that your client deliberately tried to prevent the refund from reaching him so that he would be able to continue his unfounded claim of being aggrieved. Be that as it may, we have put a stop payment on the first check, and a second check has been sent today, this time via tracked courier shipment. Which again is fairly standard process. And just to point out, I actually have been in a situation where my street name was changed on us at one point in time, and it did cause a fair amount of frustration, especially for the mail carriers, as it was not as announced to anyone that the street address was going to be renamed, and it actually took us over a month to sort the mess out. So if that were fact, that the street had been renamed, I could personally, from my own experience, completely understand that there would be definite issues there, and there was no reporting or no record that the street name had been changed until about 6 months after the fact. At least that's from my own personal experience. I have no idea whether that or not that was the case here. I'm just speaking as to what happened earlier on in my youth. So continuing on, your client's defamatory claims are entirely without merit and include unfounded allegations that the funds raised for the project were used improperly, even fraudulently. In this vein, your client is now asking for a forensic accounting to be made available to him. Firstly, there's obviously no legal basis for your client's request, and your letter cites no such authority. Secondly, the ample information provided regularly on our extensive website, including monthly progress reports from each studio, published headcounts, and the like, would enable any person familiar with the cost of game development to assess the proper spending of the funds raised. Excuse me there, I had to stop recording to go have a coughing fit. Your client claims to be an experienced person, so we are a bit perplexed about this demand coming in particular from him. However, your client's past career performance, including struggles with tax lien, this is basically the catty portion of the letter, where basically they're just being snarky towards him. Complete absence of any functional or successful game having ever been released by him in his 20-plus year career, in quotations. Yeah, it's basically, all this here is just basically a slam on Derek Smart. So feel free to pause the video and read that for yourself, but we're just going to skip past that, basically. In the internet age, every successful venture will have to deal with trolls. You're still catty there. In sum, your client's allegations and demands are completely without basis and hereby rejected in their entirety. And quick little nothing in this letter is intended to be or is a waiver of any rights, company, blah, 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 blah. So that's that. Basically a legal form letter with a fair amount of snarkiness thrown into the mix that basically is saying, kiss off, you're not getting what you're asked for, period. That's just all there is to it. So basically what they're saying with that letter is that Derek Smart in fact has no legal right to request a forensic accounting analysis of Cloud Imperium Games or Roberts Space Industries, and if he wants to get that information to come in the light, he's probably going to be facing one hell of a battle to get it done. Now, unfortunately for him, he has been stating that this has been his intention all along, which I'm not saying there is, but if there is any kind of impropriety whatsoever, then he has literally given them months to be able to clear all that up and get all their ducks in a row and be prepared, which is not something that I feel is really indicatively smart for Derek Smart to do, as basically this is ensuring that if any form of FTC investigation or any other investigation is done into the expenditures surrounding this game, then they would have had enough, well more than enough forewarning and foreshadowing to be able to clear everything up and get everything put away. So basically, with the amount of information that he's been stating and the amount of time that has been given, basically what he is wanting to have happen now will never happen. Sure, he may get a forensic analysis, but if there were any impropriety, it would all be gone. It would all be washed away by that point. So basically, a lot of his arguments in his demanding forensic analysis is basically a moot point and a complete wash due to the amount of time that has already passed where they've been made aware that he's been seeking this. So nextly, what we're going to take a look at is something a bit more recent, and that is actually, I just recently did a video regarding the recent issues that were going on at the Santa Monica office, where apparently Sandy ended up yelling at several people. We had a few people quit, a couple more fired, and a lot of other things going on down the line. Now, there are a lot of the employment things that a lot of people necessarily don't know. So I'm going to try and clear some of that up real quick. First thing you do need to know is that when Cloud Imperium and RSI ramped up to full production, where they had fully staffed crews, they were employing around 300 people. And it was always known and it was always stated that they would be scaling down and ramping down as soon as possible in order to preserve money for longevity, in order to get the game to the finish line. But they did need that initial ramp up to 300 employees to get some of the large, heavy lifting taken care of. And as such, they have scaled back quite a bit since that time. Within the past year, they've actually already scaled it down from 300 employees to, I think it's around 220, 230 right now. And they are planning on scaling it down any further. So employees being let go in rapid fashion right now is not any sign of concern. That being said, however, that doesn't mean that there wasn't something strange going on at the Santa Monica site, and that even the Twitter responses to what happened that day, as vague as they are, do point to something odd occurring. What that will be, we will most likely never know. And the reason for that is strictly because the company, of course, will not release any information, good or bad, as to why an employee was terminated or why they ended up quitting. The reason for that is there's a lot of liability issues that fall into that, which could leave them in legally actionable positions if they were to release that information. So any company, small or large, errs on the side of caution and just says nothing about why a person was quit or why they were let go. And it's not just if you don't have something nice, don't say anything at all kind of thing. It's safer for any company to just not say anything. And also, these employees, the ones that were fired or the ones that quit, they most likely will not say anything either, as it will obviously hinder their chances to gain employment at another company, another development company. So naturally, they are probably going to say very little, if anything at all, and as to what actually occurred, in order to protect their own livelihoods, which is perfectly understandable and not something any one of us can fault them for in any way, shape, or form. So the goings on at the Santa Monica office, basically something odd did happen, something out of the ordinary happened. What it was, we'll never know. But there was a forum post from Toast in regards to this specifically, and if I may have my lines crossed, so bear in mind, this may not be accurate information, but I believe Toast was hired on to Cloud Imperium as an attorney, and I believe he was actually the one that penned the letter we just reviewed. So, let's flip over and take a look at his forum post real quick in regards to the Santa Monica situation. Okay, so this is a forum post that was, they posted this on September 25th in regards to the recent employment matters at the Santa Monica office. AD closed the thread, citing Rule 9. Basically, don't needlessly speculate into CIG employment matters. It is not appropriate for the forums and is also not fair to those involved. Toast delivered a longer post here, which we're going to go through and analyze a little bit. As AD and other moderators have noted, employment matters, including comings and goings, are generally not appropriate for discussion, or at the very least, it is not really proper to be writing and demanding answers from the company as to any reasons or grounds for any individual's departure. I know that sounds icy, cold, corporate, or opaque at first glance, but there is a very good reason in my experience that this is standard practice, not just for Cloud Imperium games, but for most industries. What I have to say here is not an official company response. Believe me, if it were an official company response, you'd know I'd be posting it from my company account in my company capacity. So this is me talking, fellow backer, fan, or new. Generally, neither the company nor the individual makes a public issue or even a public declaration on the issue of departure. If the standard practice was not as it is, let's say a departure was mutually amicable and a company made a statement saying such, it had better be true. Your credibility as a company suffers if it turns out you lied. But then, if it were normal to say something positive, if there was something positive to say, what happens if there isn't something positive to say? In that case, silence would implicitly suggest that there was a negative reason for a departure. In other words, you either have a good thing to say or you say nothing, which implies something bad. Such things are unnecessarily harmful to people all around, which is basically, like I stated before, why companies, as a general rule, do not cite any reason whatsoever for an employee leaving a company or being let go from a company. Now, there are too many liability issues for the company. It's just safer for everyone all concerned if they just don't say anything at all. And he actually continues on to say, therefore the safer policy is generally say nothing, neither good nor bad. And skip ahead. Does it mean nothing will ever be said? No, it doesn't mean that either. Of course, there are plenty of times that people move from one company to another, and you see something in the news about it. Sometimes there's a compelling reason to talk about it. Sometimes one side will issue a statement in response to the other side choosing not to abide by that policy. So basically, again, that's saying that if any information comes out regarding this, basically it's going to be because the employee decided to break that, not the company. And the company will only respond once that employee has decided to forego these non-disclosure. Now, of course, people will not stop asking questions, which is perfectly fine. I personally completely agree with asking questions whenever possible. But I don't think we're really ever going to get anything out of Cloud Imperium regarding this, nor is it really unreasonable that they should maintain the stance that they do. So with all that being the case, again, like I said, there is something interesting that happened in Santa Monica that caused at least one or two people to be let go and a couple other people to walk out immediately. There was one other employee that had put in their 2 weeks notice, but I believe she was actually going to work for Sony. So that was a perfectly legitimate and standard process. However, we're probably never going to find out exactly what happened, which is fine. You know, these guys, I've seen quite a few of them in the videos, the Star Citizen videos, and they seem like good people. I know they do a good job, and I know we all really wish them the best as they go out and seek other opportunities, and I hope they find something great. So, all in all, aside from an interview with Chris Roberts, where it was touched on when they asked what he thought of Derek Smart and all these allegations, and he basically gave the equivalent response of screw that guy. There really isn't much other information that has been released by Cloud Imperium in regards to any of these concerns or issues that have been raised by Derek Smart or other people. So unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot other information that I can cite regarding all of this, but at the same time, I really hope it helps clear some of this stuff up for you guys and gives you a little bit better perspective on some of the recent occurrences and overall what may happen. So with that out of the way, again, I really hope this means that people don't stop asking questions, because a lot of the times asking questions helps keep the company honest. It'll help keep Cloud Imperium honest, it'll help keep RSI honest, it'll help keep Derek Smart more honest in regards to all of this as a whole. And the only way that can happen is by all of us asking questions and not just blindly accepting everything that is put in front of our faces, whether it be from Cloud Imperium or whether it be from Derek Smart. You'd have to take it all with a grain of salt and not take it at face value. So once again, my name is SidAlpha, and hopefully I'm a little bit easier to understand this time than my last video. I know I was feeling absolutely rotten then. I was sick as a dog. I'm still feeling it a little bit, which is horrible, means it's been a week and I'm still feeling a little sick, and that's very out of the ordinary for me. So hopefully that'll finish clearing up for me in the next few days, and you'll be able to understand me even better. As such, this is probably going to be the last Smart vs. Roberts video that I do for a while, unless there is some other major information coming out, or if Derek Smart and I do end up doing the interview, maybe there will be a video on that. But aside from that, basically we're going to be holding off until there's any large information dumps or any new actual news being released. We'll probably hold off on these videos for a while, and I can get back to doing what I really enjoy doing, which is talking about video games for you guys, and letting you know which games I've come across that are good, which games that I've come across that are bad. So please feel free to check those out, and remember to please like, favorite, subscribe, share it with your friends, because, you know, I don't grow if you guys don't like what I'm doing, and I also don't grow if you guys don't help me grow. So please bear that in mind, and yeah, tell all your friends. So once again, my name is SidAlpha, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey folks, SidAlpha here. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. If you want to check out some other First Impressions videos, feel free to click on the link on the left. If you're interested in staying more up to date with what's happening in the PC gaming community, feel free to click on the link to your right. The subscribe button is down at the bottom. Please show your support and punch that evil thing as hard as you can. And once again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.